Okay, so we've reached a massive milestone here. We've reached the point, in fact, where you have all the knowledge you need to all the foundation knowledge at the very least you have in order to build out an e-commerce business. We've basically got a general store. Mine was called Tim's Hot Deals. Yours might be called Bob's Great Bargains, whatever it might be, right? And with that general store, you can build out a business with hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars. Everything is there for you. Now, this next section is really about taking it to the next level. Should you want to do that? Of course, you're not obliged to. Where you might want to take it up to 100K plus per year business. You might want to build out real financial freedom. You might have, real entrepreneurial ambition that you want to put in place. And if you have that, that's why I put this section together, because I want to take you, where I go, if you like, and give you a lot of great tips that you can use going forward. Before you do that, however, I would really encourage you to spend 2 to 3 months with your general store. There's a lot that we've talked about. There's a lot that you've learned. And you want to just let that kind of bed down a bit. You want to, take products, load them onto your site, get a feeling for how AliExpress works, Facebook advertising, create your store with the themes or any of the bits and pieces that you want in order to personalize your site, all the stuff that we talked about. Implement that. Take your time, because I fully appreciate that not everybody has, a whole day to do this. Everyone's busy, maybe got families, maybe got real jobs, that are taking up all of your time. But, you might be only got an hour in the evenings, whatever it might be. So take your time and let yourself be led. So here I've written out a fairly wordy point here, but give yourself the time to engage with the business model, see what sells, start to discover interesting products that will lead you kind of towards a niche. Because that's sort of what happens. You'll start selling products and you'll think, oh, that one sells well. Or you might see other products, you think, yeah, that's I know about that sort of thing. Maybe I could sell that. Maybe I can add value there. Maybe 2, 3, 4 types of products start selling and the niche starts to define it for you. So what I'm trying to say is, don't force it. Don't force it. Just let it happen. You will begin to you'll get a good feeling for this after a little while. After a couple of months, you'll get a good feeling about what's working, what's not. Do that. Don't try to ram it, don't try to sort of force it, because that way it won't work. And I just want to say before we move on to the next lecture, we're actually going to start talking about what is a niche. But you're not obliged to do this. You're not obliged to build out a niche store. As I've already said, you've got everything that you can build a general store with and make some nice money on the side. There's no question about that. But if you do want to take it to the next level, the niche store is where the real money lies. Fantastic. So you've decided to come with me on this next part of the journey, and I promise you're not going to be disappointed. I'm going to impart a lot of knowledge. In fact, this part of the course is going to be quite different. This is going to be much more slides and bullet points. Okay, I'm not going to be delving into how-to type tutorials on WordPress or AliExpress. We've done all that. You've got all the kind of point-and-click technical knowledge that you need to build out a store. So I'll be giving you a kind of helicopter view of stuff, and then you can take that and make it your own. So I'm giving you some essential guidelines as we go through these next lectures, which are going to help you massively. So first question is, what is a niche? Well, there's many definitions. I basically just define it as a group of people with a common interest. Simple as that. Could be anything, right? Now, when it comes to business, a niche should not be too broad, and neither should it be too focused. And I put down these 3 points here as the way that I'm going to illustrate what is too broad, what is too focused, and then kind of what your site should look like as a result. So bear with me here, there's quite a bit of information coming up. So cooking is a very broad niche, right? It's massive. Millions and millions of people are interested in cooking. Cooking with pasta, now we're starting to drill down a bit. And then cooking with gluten-free pasta is drilling down even more, okay? Now, if we were going to get into the cooking, the first bullet point, and just made a site about cooking, we would be competing with gazillions of other, multinationals, a bazillion other websites out there. Very, very difficult to make some sort of distinctive point about what we're actually doing, why people want to come to us. If we go to the second bullet point, cooking with pasta, yes, okay, still massive. Cooking with pasta is clearly huge, but at least we're starting to define a little bit more about what we're about. What's our differentiation, as they often say, our differentiator, I guess I should say. And then the third one, cooking with gluten-free pasta. Now what we're doing is we're talking to people who are gluten-free that want to eat pasta, clearly. Okay, now that's a much more niche group. Okay, so on your site, you could still sell cooking utensils. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're cooking with pasta, cooking with whatever, but you can still sell cooking utensils. But your site is now much more focused on gluten-free pasta. So advice that you're offering, I'll talk about blogs in a bit later on. You might want to start a blog about gluten-free pasta. Imagine you are a gluten person who doesn't eat gluten. You'll know a lot about this. You can start writing things about it. And you start to become a go-to place for gluten-free pasta, for example, knowledge and feedback and a little community and so on and so forth. But you're also selling these cooking products. So, you start to define yourself. You're no longer just a massive cooking site competing with many others. You're cooking with gluten-free pasta. That's niche. That's niche. Now, next question is it profitable? So, cooking utensils clearly are profitable, right? There's a million out there, and as I said before, if you're cooking with gluten-free pasta, you can sell a colander or forks or whatever it is that you saucepans, whatever you might be using to cook gluten-free pasta. You can still sell that stuff on your site, and just use what I've already taught you. Use AliExpress. Go to AliExpress. Find out what's selling. You'll find out what's profitable, and then you can start selling that on your site. Now, I'm going on about gluten-free pasta here. It's something I'm not interested in, all right? But so what I put here is, ideally it's something that you are interested in. Something where you can add value, okay? So, my wife, for example, makes amazing cakes, incredible like wedding cakes. So she hasn't done this, but she could have an e-commerce store where she's selling cake making products, okay, cooking type products if you like, but the site is focused on making, let's say, high-end wedding cakes, and tips of how to do that, how to make beautiful sugar roses or incredible fondant icing or whatever it is. That's where the value add is coming in. That's why people will come to the site. That's why people will come back to the site. Yeah, they will follow you. They will buy from you in the future. All right, so I hope that's starting to become clear as to what a niche is and how you can actually build a profitable one. This isn't rocket science. This is a classic analysis paralysis type situation where people freak out and spend months thinking about a niche. Don't do that, all right? Just start thinking about the things you're interested in where you can genuinely add value. Then think about the products that you could sell within that niche. Go over to AliExpress, see what you can find, and then once you get to that point, register a domain name. All right, another domain name. Go back to TMD hosting and just buy another domain name. It's going to cost you whatever it is, $10, maybe less. So you register another domain name, cooking with pasta, cooking with gluten-free pasta, whatever it is, right, that you're going to do. So make the domain name niche, pick something meaningful, and then just basically go back through the whole process. Build out another store, right? You've got a lot of education here. This thing's going to go much, much quicker this time. Build out a store, excuse me, this time perhaps with a proper logo that says exactly what you're doing now, yeah? Think about a theme and the homepage and stuff that I've taught you, but now, start to really think about how it would really look for somebody who is interested in cooking with gluten-free pasta. Okay, brilliant. There's a lot of knowledge there. Take a deep breath. Maybe watch this slide again. Yeah. Talk to your friends, talk to your wife, whatever. Talk to yourself. Come up with ideas as to how you could create a niche into which you can add value. Okay, so in the last lecture, I was starting to talk about authority. And becoming an authority is the key to creating a niche business. Okay, becoming an authority is the key to creating a niche business. Okay, I just said that twice because it's very important. Now, people love authority sites. You probably already use authority sites, the sites that you trust. So for example, I'm big into my sport, so I'll have sites that I'll go to for running advice. Or for example, I love kite surfing, so there are sites that I go to that I know give me great advice about kite surfing and the products that I need to buy. And the reason why I go to them is because they've helped me. They've gained my trust with the knowledge that they've given to me. Yeah, and I'm basically now part of their tribe. I will buy from them. It's going to be now, for some other site to get my attention, that's going to take some doing. I have my trusted sources. So if you can help people, they will trust you and they will buy from you. Okay, in whatever niche you're thinking about, let's just carry on with that whole gluten-free pasta analogy. But if you can help people, say, identify or come up with gluten-free recipes, or things that you shouldn't eat, or things that you should eat, or do's and don'ts, be careful of this, what you should do when you're away on holiday. The list is endless of the advice that you can give to people. And you will become an authority as you build this out. Now, the way to do this in the online world is typically with a blog. All right, blogs are everywhere. There's a bazillion of them. Okay, and you'll see here I put build, trust, and maybe traffic. And I put maybe because it's important, because what I believe is a mistake that so many people make is that they start a blog thinking somehow that's going to drive an enormous amount of traffic to their site. It just isn't, unless you've got a huge budget, or you get very, very lucky, or you're super, super niche, or whatever it is. You're going to find it difficult, frankly, to drive traffic. You will drive some traffic, but I'm talking about a significant amount of traffic that will result in sales on your site. Something that can replace your Facebook advertising, for example. You're really going to have to go some. You're going to have a massive blog to do that. So don't be under the illusion that you're going to create a massive amount of traffic with a blog, but you will build trust. Trust me, when people come to your blog and they start seeing that you're writing about stuff that they're interested in, and that they start to trust you, they'll come back for more. They'll absolutely come back for more. They'll sign up for your email newsletter, for example. That's something else you should put on your site. Sign up for my email newsletter. Get their email. In the next slide or two, I'm going to be talking about the importance of the email list and how it is gold. YouTube channel. Okay, that's another thing that you could do. That's a little bit more involved because obviously that's visual. You can do how-to videos, how to cook gluten-free pasta, how to use certain utensils, whatever it could be, demonstrations, I don't know. And just to point about actually both these, the blog and the YouTube channel, if you decide to go down that route, come up with a content plan. Come up with what you're going to actually post on a regular basis, okay? Because that's how you'll gain attention of the Googles of this world, for example. And also it looks good. We've all been on blogs where, the last post was 5 years ago or something like that, or they've posted, yesterday, but prior to that, the last one was 8 months ago. It doesn't look good. You need a steady flow. It might be once a week, might be once a month. Once a month, as far as I'm concerned, is fine. But just think about what you're going to write, so you're not stressing about it every month. Think about what you could actually, where are you going to add value each time. Make sure every post is going to add value. Don't just post pointless waffle. That won't get you anywhere. The other thing you could do is write an ebook. Now, an ebook doesn't have to be, a novel. We're not talking about 500 pages here. You could write an ebook that's 10 pages long, 15 pages long. Something, again, that is imparting your knowledge, something you build trust. Put it on your site, Always ask for somebody's email address so that they can then download it off your site. So you grab their email, they download it. Now you've got their email. You're now building trust. They know about your site. They'll start shopping with you. They'll start buying with you. That's how it works. It's a great method of doing it. And the other thing you can do with an ebook is, not many people do actually, but a great little tip here is you can actually offer it on Amazon for free. So imagine you wrote an ebook cooking with gluten-free pasta, and just offer it on Amazon for free, because it's a lead magnet. It's something that's going to bring people to your site. People will download that off Amazon. It's free. They'll read it, right? And in there, it's going to be all kinds of references to your site. Clearly, www.cookingwithglutenfreepasta.com, whatever it is. So that is another idea, a great way to build authority. So, again, reflect on this. These are great ways to build authority, and becoming an authority will lead to success. So you've got your niche site and you're starting to become an authority in your niche, right? The thing that is going to be of super, super importance is refining your audience, or I could have called this defining your audience or improving your audience or whatever you want, but your audience is key. Now, obviously, with a niche, you have a much more carefully defined audience, and you can use Facebook audience insights to help you find those audiences. We looked into quite a lot of this stuff during the course of the course, and I hope you're really starting to get familiar with those processes, because those Facebook audience insights, those insights that it can give you, are of super importance. Now, uncovering hidden audiences is the key. Okay, I've sort of alluded to how, for example, Labradors in general are not going to make any sales. Yeah, everyone does that. It's an obvious one, right? And it doesn't work anyway. I've taught you how to overlap audiences with buyers and communities in order to actually find those proper buyers out there. But the hidden audiences, those are the ones, that's where the gold is, those where the gems are, all right? And you can use words like I do. In fact, this is a great tip, okay? You can use words like foundation, society, association, club, federation. If you think about it, these are groups of people on Facebook that are showing a genuine interest in something. If you're a member of a club or a federation or a society or whatever, you're generally not going to follow those pages unless you have a genuine interest in that subject. Now, just as a sort of final comment on this, because this is a mega subject, if you like. But this is where you will/should spend most of your time going forward. Now, I put will/should on purpose, because what happens is that people do not spend nearly enough time doing this. They spend a lot of time on products, a lot of time on making the site look good, and the audience, for the most part, is an afterthought. You really should turn your brain around and think of this as 70-80% of what you need to do if you want to build a successful niche. Spend really a lot of time delving into Facebook audience insights, saving your audiences there, testing different audiences. Once you've found those hidden audiences, I promise you, then you can lead them to your products and you will start to make some serious money. So your email list is gold, right? This is true. I even tried to write gold in gold. I think it's actually turned out more like yellow. But anyway, your email list is gold. You'll often hear people say things like, the money is in the list, all right? Truth be told, the money is in the relationship you have with your list. But you're going to hear these kinds of expressions as you get into email marketing. Now, you've seen this already. Every time you make a sale, you're going to get an email address. You want to keep that email address. Okay, you want to keep the email address and you want to keep the name of the person. You want to keep, what they bought as well, if you like. But most importantly is the email address and the name of the person. Now, we're working in a niche here. Okay, we're working in a niche. So all of the emails and all of the names that you collect, they all have a common interest. The thing that you are basically selling, or the thing that your authority site is based on. So, list building and marketing is a huge topic, all right? I can't possibly cover it in this course. Maybe I should do another course on this because it is hugely important. But suffice it to say that the idea is that you want to market to your list periodically, but you do not want to spam, okay? The quickest way to get rid of everybody off your list is to spam them, and they'll all unsubscribe in no time and never come back to your site. That is not what you are doing here, okay? The whole purpose of sending emails is Your goal is to build continued trust. It's just like on the site. It's just like with your blog. It's just like with your YouTube channel. It's just like with your ebook. Any other outlet you have is all about building trust, and this is no different. So a kind of a best practice, if you will, is that for every 3 emails that you send, only one of them is going to be a sales one. Okay, so the idea here is, of course, that you've got this list. Let's say you've got 1,000 people on your list, and you find a new product. They're your tribe. They trust you. They're interested in what you have to say. So rather than waiting for them to come to your site now, you can send them an email with a direct link saying, hey, I thought you might be interested in this XYZ product. Yeah, you can email that out to 1,000 people in one go, and you might generate 100 sales just off of that. You might generate 10 sales, you might generate 300 sales, I don't know, but we're talking about pressing a button and sending an email here. It costs nothing. Yeah, it's gold. It really, really is. Now the other 2 emails are content. Yeah, this is about building up trust. So you're doing a product review. You're talking about stuff in your blog. Maybe you can. Sometimes I put like blog links into an email as part of the content. Hey, check out my latest blog posting. It's also quite nice. It brings them to the site. Keep the emails fairly punchy. Don't make them long and drawn out and what have you. But you basically want to use that procedure. Now, how often you email is up to you, but you'll judge it. I might email once a week. Yeah, I know people who email every single day. I mean, that would be the absolute max. But the point is, you've got to have something to say. If you're going to email every single day, make sure that they want to get your emails. Your list should be waiting for your next email. In anticipation. That's what they want. And as a general thing here, and I haven't put this as a bullet point, but as a general thing, as a nice little takeaway for you, each email is worth about $1 per month in revenue that you gain. Okay, so do you remember I said right in the beginning, or not in the beginning, but when we were doing the Facebook advertising, I said, either turn a profit or break even, because you will have got a customer, you will have got an email. That's what that was about. That's the point we are at now. That email, if you like, is worth $1 per month. So let's imagine you build up a list of 5,000 email addresses. Okay, entirely possible. That's not a big list. A big list is 400,000. That's a massive list, actually. But a big list is 50,000. So 5,000 is a doable list. That would equate to, and this is very rule of thumb, of course, that would equate to $5,000 a month. Okay, think about that. You've built up this list. You've got a great relationship, and now you can generate $5,000 a month. Pretty much by pressing buttons. It's genius. It's how people make a lot of money with these sites. And as a last point, just a technical point, if you like, is use an email provider. I'm not talking about sending out emails from your Gmail account or whatever you're using, or webmail account. Use a professional provider. Aweber, MailChimp, GetResponse. Those are some of the big players in the market. Reason being, there is a small fee involved, but it's well worth it. Okay, because you first of all, you can create professional looking emails, which is great. It's all drag and drop, normal thing. Yeah, don't need any technical expertise. And things like your chances of emails passing through spam filters and will be increased. You can see which ones get opened, which ones don't get opened, which ones unsubscribe. There's so many benefits that use an email provider. So there we go. One slide on list building and marketing, which is, as I say, is a massive topic. But do not ignore this. Do not just let those emails slip through your fingers and wonder where they went. So many people do. You'd be amazed. Keep them. They are gold. Outsourcing. Just be cautious. Okay, the words of a wise man. Now, as you build out your site, you will want to outsource bits and pieces because it just gets impossible. If you've got loads of orders coming in, all kinds of stuff, you'll want help. And there's all kinds of ways to outsource online. Things you can outsource are product descriptions, Facebook advertising, order fulfillment, product selection. Yeah, basically everything. or just about anything, right? You can, the sky's the limit in terms of what you want to outsource. What I would say is only outsource if it's absolutely necessary. Because what happens is you will lose a certain amount of control of your business, of what's actually going on. All right. If you let somebody write your own product descriptions and then you have issues with sales later on, it could well be down to that, or the Facebook advertising, or the product selection, or whatever it is. The only thing that I really outsource when I've got lots and lots of orders going on is the order fulfillment, because that's just really a sort of a process that's got to be done. It's very boring. It's extremely repetitive. You can't really screw it up. So that's what I do. I just pretty much do order fulfillment. And if I organize my time, manage my time well, then I can do all this other stuff. It's really not a big deal, and it keeps me close to my business. Otherwise, there'll be a disconnect, with what's actually going on. I've made this mistake in the past. That's why I've written just be cautious. I've made this mistake where I thought, right, I've got a site up and running. I'm doing great. I now want to do something else. I'm going to outsource everything. I'll take a hit. I'll lose 20% or whatever it is by outsourcing, but it'll be worth it. And what happens is you kind of, you lose that touch that you have with your business of what's going on, particularly if you've got an authority site, a niche site. That's kind of you. That's your knowledge. Start handing that over to somebody else. It's going to lose that personal touch, that business I talked about right from the beginning, and hopefully it's sort of all through this course where, be yourself, have a picture of yourself, connect with the people. They want to hear from you. That's how you're going to work this business. That's what makes us successful, at least in my experience. Others may have, of course, different experiences, but in my experience, being me, that's what helps. So outsource by all means. If you want to do what I do, just do order fulfillment. But if you're going to go with it more and more and more, just be cautious about what you do. Okay, this is going to be a very quick lecture. I just want to make you aware that there are AliExpress alternatives. It's not the only show in town, AliExpress. In my view, it's the best. It's the biggest, but it's not the only show. If for some reason you get any issues with AliExpress, you should at least have some sort of backup insurance policy, So I just want to let you know that there are plenty of sites out there. I've listed these ones, more or less at random. I don't have any great experience with these. To be honest, I don't really use them. I've certainly had a good browse around and probably think they're pretty good sites, but I don't have any real good feedback to give you on any of them. But they're there. They're there for you. They're there for me. If I have an issue with AliExpress, I will turn to one of these sites. So just be aware that you do have alternatives as part of your insurance policy. Selling your website or your business. Wow. Maybe you've, never even thought about that. But, take a step back for a moment. Think about, you're probably at this point starting on your journey and you're just, you're getting excited about building up your business. But think about, 12 months from now or 2 years from now, something like that. You've built yourself up a great business that's making 100,000 euros a year or $200,000 a year or whatever it is. That's an asset. It's a real asset. It's a real business. It generates money. Therefore, if you wanted to, you could sell it, General rule of thumb, if something's making 200,000 a year, then you can sell it for, at least that. So don't be under any illusions here. You are, you're building something proper here. You've seen that this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, right? This requires hard work. It requires effort. There's an awful lot to learn. It can be a huge amount of fun. It can be enormously satisfying at the same time. And, you're working from home. You've got, a lifestyle business at your fingertips, and now you have potentially something you could sell if you wish. The other thing you could do, of course, is you could do another one. You could do another niche site. On your journey, this is basically what's happened to me, on my journey through one niche site, I start to bump against other things. And I think, well, maybe when I've got this one going well, I'll do another one. After all, we are essentially repeating a process here. We're going through, a series of lectures, what I've taught you here. It's the same process to build up another site. So, I'm really not making this up. You can dream a little, all right? Dream a little. Don't focus on it, because I want you to focus on building up the business, which is a day-by-day thing. But yeah, dream a little, and think about, one day perhaps selling your website or your business. Wow, we've come to the end of the course. I can't believe it. I have so enjoyed teaching you, and thank you so much for inviting me into your homes or wherever you are to give that opportunity. Now, of course, I thoroughly hope you really, really enjoyed this, but as well as teaching you, as well as giving you the skills and the knowledge, what I really, really wanted to do is kind of inspire you, to perhaps get you thinking about the opportunities that this kind of course, this business model can give you. Maybe you're already thinking about perhaps replacing your 9-to-5 job. In the most extreme case, you can see what this can do. If that's the case, then congratulations, run with it, go with it. Now, it's the end of the course, but I'm still here. And what I would love to receive is constructive criticism. I understand that there are holes in the course, there are things that I can improve, and the reality is, in any case, that the whole thing is a moving target. New techniques develop all the time, and I'm going to be adding that stuff in as we go along. But anything you want to add, anything you want to give back to me, I would very, very happily take that and weave it into the course if it's appropriate. Now, let me just finish by saying once again, super congratulations. I just want to wish you the best of luck, with everything you do between now and the future. Enjoy. Fantastic. I'll see you very soon, I hope, in perhaps the next course I'll create. Goodbye.